How you doing today? Thanks for coming back to Flathead Ron's Garage. Well, hopefully we'll get a little bit done on the motor today. What I'm doing now is I've got my little red Scotch-Brite on my Dremel. I can't find my good rotary tool. I'm going through all the intake bowls. I've already been through the ports. You can see they're nice and shiny. I went through and took off a little bit of flash where the oil drain holes are in the valley here. I know, necessary? No. Did I need to do it? No. I just wanted to do it. I don't know how much I'm going to show you trying to get these pistons in here, because I have a ring compressor. That's not the problem, and I know how to put pistons in, but when you get a relief, especially one this big, it took me a long time to put the pistons in last time, so I gave myself just a little bit more of a chamfer. If anybody knows of a good way to get it down there, because the ring compressor won't fit inside here unless I do some cutting on it, and you'll see it's a really nice compressor. I kind of hate to cut it up, but we're getting there. I'm going to go through and clean out the exhaust ports when I'm done with this, and the exhaust bowls with a little wire brush. Now, I'm sorry I didn't have too much for you last time, but it's just one thing, and then another thing, and then another thing. It just kept happening. Then wife and I took a week off, and I just got in a lazy mode and didn't want to do much when we got back, and my back, and then my foot, and then so look who you're working with. Ow. I'll go ahead and finish up the intakes. I'm not trying to make them perfect. I'm just trying to get rid of some of the really, really rough areas inside here, because yeah, it's going to hit the floor of the runner, and it's going to come through and it's going to hit the back of the bowl here, and I just want that to be nice and smooth. Oh well, I'll just put different parts in here. There you go, Ron. Well, I think that's it for my little Scotch-Brite thingamabobber here. Well, I think that's all for cleaning up. So I might as well flip it over and see about putting some cam bearings in here. On the intake guides, there we go, you can see that one pretty good. I've been working polishing these things up. But on the intake guides, the floor of this runner here has been taken way down. So if you're to get one of the valve guides, I know it's going to be a little blurry, sorry. I'll take this valve guide with the key in it, the keeper in it. Now I'm going to slip it up through the bottom here, and you can see how far it protrudes up inside there. Let's see if I can get you a better picture. There you go. So you can see what I need to do. I need to mark this right here so we get rid of this area, so it brings the top of the lifter, I'm sorry, the top, there goes my light. There we go. So here's the lifter floor, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a scribe around this. Now you have to do each one of these for each separate intake runner. you can't do one and expect it to be the same for all of them. So with this little mark on here, I'm going to take it out to my lathe. Here's the valve guide. There's the mark. You can barely see it on there. This doesn't have to be done in a 4-jaw. Just fine. There we go. You don't want to tighten it up too tight. That's just cast in there. There we go. You got a line around it. I don't know if you can see it or not. I can barely see it. Let's. Oh yeah, I can see it. Just a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to say that's really close. That's right on, actually. So let's go ahead and finish all the rest of them up, and I'll see you over at the motor. Well, that's the last one. I'll put it in there and check it. I've still got to lap the valves, but I'm waiting for another set of exhaust valves before I go lapping all the valves. I had a little mishap and I dropped one of the exhaust valve assemblies. Yeah, I know. Totally my fault, but it is what it is. So I've got another set of 8 exhaust valves coming. I can't just put one in it, I got to put them all in. So that's where I'm at with that. But we'll put this last one back together. And in my haste last night, I dropped 2 of the retainers and the little cone somewhere around here. I found the cone for the valve stem. I found one retainer, but I didn't find the other, so I might be having to call my supplier and put in another small order. That's really nice. And on all of mine, I put my the Cleveite bearing guard for my assembly lube. I lube all my valve stems after I clean them out and clean them all up. I lube the valve stems and lube the valve guide. Well, now that I've got all the intake guides trimmed out and matched the floor of the runners for each specific runner, I think I'm going to go ahead and put in the cam bearings. Just beware of your orientation, big hole, small hole thing. This rear bearing doesn't have a feed to the rear, the rear cam bearing doesn't have a feed to the rear main. So you got it on there and you've got it centered. Love tap. Everything looks good. Right there. Okay. Rear cam bearings in. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the center and to the front cam bearing, and I'll bring you back when I'm putting the cam in. Okay? We'll put a good coat of my Isky Rev Lube on the gears and all the bearing surfaces, not on the lobes right now. I'll put that on the lobes in a little while. It's just too messy to have to worry about it. I can put it in once it's in there. And all you do is put a screw with the washer here. After you put the cam gear on the top, you put a screw with the washer and that retains this. That way you can flip it over without the cam falling out. I'll show you how to do that. That's pretty simple. Okay. This sure beats putting it in and having to worry about it banging around. Now, this is just the way that I assemble a flathead. There's no right way, wrong way. I mean, there we go. I'm just going to use this one this one bolt here to hold the cam in, and I'll put another one up here with a washer on it. So now the cam won't come out. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to lube my lobes in here. That's all for right now. I'm going to go ahead and hold tight on the valves until my exhaust valves come in. I'm just going to disassemble the exhaust valve sets. I'll probably just set the intakes in here and get the cam on the correct configuration on the, not configuration, get the cam set up on the correct holes here so I can bolt it up. The reason I assemble my motor this way is because when you're setting the valves on your flathead, this way you're assured of knowing exactly where your lifter sits on the lobe. All you have to do is put 2 long bolts in there, grab them and turn them, or put a piece of wood or a wrench in between them and turn them where you need them, and just go ahead and start at one and work all the way down and adjust them all at one time. That way you don't have to worry about putting it here and getting number 1, number 5, number 6, and number 8 exhaust valves or something. You don't have to worry about all that. It's just so much easier to do it this way. Then you can put the crank in, get the timing marks lined up, and then put the pistons in. But pistons are all cleaned, everything's ready to roll there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put the main bearing caps with the bearings in it for right now, just to set it in here, but I don't know why I stress so much about putting cam bearings in. I think it's just the mere thought of taking a hammer to something that you have a bearing attached to. It's always, since day one, it's always bothered me. I've always had somebody else do my cam bearings. I apologize if I seem kind of down all the time. It's just that my brain's trying to work in overdrive, and I'm trying to talk, and I'm trying to think, and it's just everything going on at once. You know, it might seem like I'm down, but I'm not. I feel really good about this now. We've got all the valve guides cut so they meet the floor and the runners for each one of their respective runners. They're all trimmed exactly for the size of that runner. And all those are assembled. And the only thing I'm waiting for now is a set of exhaust valves, and we'll be on our road and getting quite a bit done next time, I hope. So next time I hope to have all the valves in, adjusted, put the crankshaft in, put the pistons in, and start work on that full flow oil system. So I'll see you next time here at Flathead Ron's Garage. You guys be safe in the shop. Don't be like me.